My name is Jim Crown, and on behalf of my fellow trustees of the Aspen Institute, I want to welcome you to our 36th annual awards dinner. The first step in doing that is to recognize our chairman, Mercedes Bass, the dinner chair without whom this evening would not be possible. And Mercedes, your impeccable taste, your devotion to the Institute, the work that you do to make sure everything is perfect has yet again surpassed itself with this year's dinner. We can't thank you enough for your commitment, not just to this dinner, but to the Institute overall. We have several dinner vice chairs that I'd like to thank for their generosity. Judy and Leonard Lauder, Craig Martin and Jenner and Block, the John P. The John P. and Ann Walsh McNulty Foundation, Gina and Jerry Murdoch, Lead with Love, Carrie Walton Penner and Greg Penner, Jillian and Bob Steele, the Lori Tisch Illumination Fund, and Tishman Spire. Rob and Jerry, thank you for your support tonight. We also have two corporate underwriters tonight, so I'd ask for a round of applause for both J.P. Morgan Chase and the Southern Company. The Southern Company sent some folks up from Atlanta to be here with their fellow Southerner, Brian Stevenson. We'll hear from Brian later, of course. So, looking back at 2019, we're almost at the point of looking back on the year. It's been incredibly busy, it's been productive, and there has been a lot going on. For those of you who were in Aspen over the summer, the Ideas Festival, of course, continues to get better and better. We had the Resnick Aspen Action Forum that brought our global leaders in for a convening. And then in August, we had a very special announcement when we announced the creation of the Resnick Center for Herbert Bayer Studies on the Aspen campus. And then last month, we launched the Aspen Partnership for Inclusive Growth, which is a collaboration we have with the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth. And as that name implies, we're going to be focused on things we can do to build a broader-based economy, and we are just launching that initiative. These new initiatives will continue to build on our historic body of work and what we try to do at the Institute, and hopefully these are programs that will extend well into the next generation. And on another point of next generation celebration, last night we were able to celebrate the 2019 John P. McNulty Prize laureates. This was founded by Ann McNulty, our trustee, and as many of you know, the McNulty Prize recognizes individual, well, yeah. I'm going fast, but please don't hesitate for the shout outs. The McNulty Prize recognizes individuals who are showing not only exceptional leadership and courage, but they've made changes in their life. They've made the pivot from being successful to doing something important and challenging. And the prize last night was awarded to Kelsey Worth. Kelsey's here tonight. So Kelsey was a Henry Crown Fellow. She's part of the Aspen Global Leadership Network, and she launched an organization, Mothers Out Front, which is a grassroots organization focused on addressing climate change and sustainability. Kelsey, congratulations on winning the McNulty Prize, and congratulations on founding Mothers Out Front. And we have a number of other McNulty laureates with us here tonight. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited about tonight. Great program. We have two extraordinary leaders that we're going to bring to the stage to acknowledge. The first will be presented with the Institute's Henry Crown Leadership Award, and that's going to be presented to Ginny Rometty. Ginny was the first female chairman and chief executive officer at IBM, and under her leadership, the company was transformed to position it for this new era of data management, and Ginny herself was a leader in the industry, the leader in the industry, setting standards about privacy, data transparency and responsibility, and all the while fostering an incredible culture of inclusivity. She will be presented the award by a board member of her board, Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, who will be coming to the stage momentarily. We'll then hear from Bill Mayer, Institute Chairman Emeritus and Chair of the Board of the Overseers of the Henry Crown Fellowship Program, and Frances Hoffman, Trustee of the Henry and Gladys Crown Charitable Trust. Then we will be, well, not then, now, I would like to recognize three individuals who we're going to honor tomorrow. These are three moderators that started 20-some years ago with the Henry Crown Program, moderating the executive seminar, and some people know exactly what that means. Others, the term may not be self-defining. The fellowship program requires people to spend 2 intensive weeks, 2 summers in a row, dealing with not just the executive seminar materials and what those questions raise, what it means to be a citizen, what it means to live a good life, what it means to have purpose, but also go on to incredible projects like Mothers Out Front that you heard about. Every Henry Crown Fellow with mentorship goes that direction. And so the three that we would like to recognize tonight and tomorrow who were the original moderators of that program are Skip Battle, Ben Dunlop, and Keith Berwick. And it's hard with the lights for me to see where they are, but I'd like to ask all three to stand. And for a portion of the room, these are amongst the most important individuals in their life, and for the rest of you should know that the program and the fellowship accomplishments would not be anything close to what they were without the leadership of these three. Skip, Ben, Keith, thank you so very much. So we'll go through the segment where we get to honor Ginny, then we'll have dinner, and then Dan Porterfield, our chairman and CEO, will come to the stage, and he will be presenting the Public Service Award to Brian Stevenson. Brian, as I'm sure you know, is the founder of the Equal Justice Initiative, an organization devoted to ending racial injustice, advocating for equality, and creating hope for marginalized communities. We really thank Brian for letting us honor him and celebrate him here tonight, because Brian, your work embodies the ideals of tolerance, justice, and respect for open-minded dialogue, which is completely consistent. They're just integral values to the mission and role that we feel the Aspen Institute plays. And I also want to especially thank our trustee, Sonia Kapadia, who works with Brian at the Equal Justice Initiative and helped us bring him here tonight. After the presentation of the award, our good friend, award-winning journalist and Aspen Institute trustee, Katie Couric, will join Brian on stage for a conversation, and I'm really looking forward to that as well. So, thank you again for joining us. I would now like to introduce Shirley Jackson, who's going to present the Henry Crown Leadership Award. Some of you may know, Dr. Jackson is an eminent physicist who was the first African-American woman to get a doctorate from MIT. She is the 18th president of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and I had the great privilege of working with Dr. Jackson on the President's Intelligence Advisory Board during the Obama administration. A wonderful person, a wonderful leader, and we are thrilled, Dr. Jackson, to have you here tonight. Please welcome Shirley Jackson.
Thank you, Jim. It is a great honor tonight to be asked to introduce Ginny Rometty, Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer of IBM, and a dear friend and colleague. I have served IBM as a director since 2005, and currently I chair the Directors and Corporate Governance Committee and sit on the Executive Committee. As a result, I have a particularly privileged view into her high standards of honor, integrity, industry, and philanthropy that tonight are being honored with the Henry Crown Leadership Award. Ginny Rometty, who has served as CEO of IBM since 2012, has courageously and gracefully transformed a 108-year-old company for leadership in an age in which the volume of digital data that humanity is generating is altering our world completely, an age in which we require new ways to turn data into information in order to uplift and even save human lives. Now, IBM is a very large ship to turn around, with nearly 400,000 employees in 175 countries. But Jenny's vision and gift of inspiring others have allowed IBM to set the pace in fields that include artificial intelligence, blockchain, quantum computing, and the hybrid cloud. After graduating with high honors in computer science and electrical engineering from Northwestern University in 1979, Jenny began her career with IBM in 1981 as a systems engineer for banking customers. As senior vice president later of IBM Global Business Services, she led the largest acquisition in the history of professional services, successfully integrating Price Waterhouse Coopers Consulting into IBM with great sensitivity to the challenges of merging cultures. Today, as IBM CEO, she has spearheaded a powerful combination with Red Hat, the open source cloud software company, after the third largest acquisition in United States technology history closed this past July. As senior vice president and group executive of IBM sales, marketing, and strategy, Jenny sharply increased IBM's presence in emerging economies, and with the Smarter Planet initiative, helped businesses, governments, and civil organizations to use the Internet of Things and sophisticated analytics and algorithms to create a more responsive and human-focused set of systems for transportation, food, energy, and healthcare. As CEO, Jenny is distinctive in her willingness to invest in long-range objectives and in research in nascent fields that may take years to bear fruit. As a result, IBM is a wonderful partner for my own institution in many remarkable research projects focused on great global challenges, including the Jefferson Project, which uses smart sensor platforms and the enormous data they collect placed in freshwater ecosystems to better understand threats to freshwater resources for a very thirsty world. And the Cognitive and Immersive Systems Laboratory, which is creating smart systems rooms, smart situations rooms, really, with hierarchies of intelligent agents to vastly enhance group decision-making. And finally, the Center for Computational Innovations, where the frontiers of data-centric, artificial intelligence-enabled high-performance computing are being explored. But importantly for the award tonight, her strengths as a leader include the compassion and frankness with which she discusses the societal changes and challenges spurred by the digitization of everything. Indeed, she insists that the builders of new technologies have to bring them safely into the world. Jenny has averred that, and I quote, "Trust is the defining issue of our time, that data belongs to its owner, and that artificial intelligence must be used transparently and wisely." She has spoken of the need to make the benefit of technology inclusive and to ready those without bachelor's degrees for what she calls new-collar tech jobs, as artificial intelligence transforms the world of work. And toward that end, IBM has partnered with public schools and created a remarkably successful new educational model spanning grades 9 to 14 called P-TECH, or Pathways in Technology Early College High Schools. P-TECH students graduate with both a high school diploma and a no-cost associate's degree in applied science, engineering, computer science, or other STEM disciplines. And with the skills, should they choose not to go on to a bachelor's degree, to move into high-growth jobs generated by our digital age. And many P-TECH students are the first in their families to earn a college degree. So Jenny Rometty is at once deeply principled as a person and as a CEO, yet truly willing to take large risks to benefit her business and the world at large. This combination of qualities is inspiring, exhilarating, and endearing. She's a wonderful leader and a wonderful friend. So Jenny, congratulations on an honor truly and well-deserved. Now I turn the stage over to Mr. Bill Meyer, trustee and chairman emeritus of the Aspen Institute and founder of Park Avenue Equity Partners, and to Mr. Francis Hoffman, founder and principal architect of the award-winning Francis R. Hoffman Architects and the creator of the Henry Crown Leadership Award. Gentlemen.
Hi, good evening. A lot of familiar faces out there. When I was doing my homework, I realized that Ginny would have made a terrific Henry Crown Fellow. And our loss for not having found her earlier to get into the program. And why would I say that? Because she is resourceful. She knows how to figure things out. And she learned how to be independent at a fairly early age, the oldest of four. And in her mid-teen years, really helped her mother be really head of the household. And I think that's where a lot of that came from as an individual. She has a saying that I think would resonate with all of us in the room, and that is growth and comfort do not coexist. And you think about what we talk about with the Henry Crown program, and that's a lot of what we talk about, is you really can't have growth if you stay in a comfort zone, and to take yourself out of a comfort zone is what allows you to have your personal growth. So she's someone who's obviously comfortable with herself and is, by her own admission, continually learning and trying to reinvent herself. And of course, that's what she's doing with her company. And that's no easy task. If you read anything about Clayton Christensen and the idea of reinvention, it's really hard to take a big 400,000 person organization and keep reinventing it. And I don't know, in the 100-odd years, this is the 7th or 8th iteration of trying to reinvent. And the focus, of course, going forward, there's a lot of mention about artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I think anybody who has done any reading realizes that 95% of the people that say they're doing that really aren't doing that. IBM clearly is, and I look forward to the day they include the behavioral science aspect of how people think and make decisions, so the predictive powers of AI and machine learning can be even more accurate and frankly helpful to all of us for improving our lives. And so I want to thank you for coming here, and Francis, I'd like to come up and have you accept the Henry Crown Award.
Good evening. First, I'd like to introduce the 2019 class of Henry Crown Fellows. Would you please stand up, the Moonshot class? Okay. The Henry Crown Leadership Award was created to add to the experience of the Henry Crown Fellows. Both were created through the will of Gladys Crown because of her love and admiration for the virtues of her husband, Henry Crown. Tonight, we honor Ginny Rometty for her values-based leadership. And values-based leadership, in fact, is a hallmark of the Henry Crown Fellowship Program. So therefore, on behalf of the Henry and Gladys Crown Charitable Trust and the Aspen Institute, it gives me great pleasure to present the 2019 Henry Crown Leadership Award. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. The stage is yours.
Okay. There's an important phone here, though.
Oh, thank you.
Could be something more important here. So first, I am really humbled by this award, and I thank those all too kind words that were said. You got to taste a little bit of Dr. Shirley Jackson there as well, who is one of my greatest role models in my professional career. Please, I wish I was awarding her this. I say she's a force to be reckoned with. And so it is with great appreciation, the Crown family and the Aspen Institute for this wonderful honor. And I should say I am a Chicagoan. And so, I need to say no more. And so it was thrilled. I mean, Henry Crown, who helped build the city I grew up in, I must say the university that I went to as well, is many other hallmarks in this country. And really for a legacy that I would thank his family for today as well. So thank you for that. So I get to say a few comments up here about some of the topics that were already mentioned. And the one important one was really about corporations reassessing what their role is and their mission in this world right now. And you might be aware, there have been some articles written on this. I'm a member of the Business Roundtable and a member of the group that put the work together to redefine the purpose of the corporation. And so not everyone applauded that. But I must say, I was honored. I also head up the Education and Workforce Committee. And we did this because words really matter. And what had been previously written really did not represent how any of us ran our companies, or what we believed, or the impact we have in our communities. And so the new statement, I think, is a much more modern version, and it has all our stakeholders. And the exact words are: delivering value to our customers, investing in our employees, dealing fairly and ethically with our suppliers, supporting the communities in which we work, and generating long-term value for shareholders. So, well, I am sure many here agree. What we wanted to emphasize was really the word "and" between all of those, and recognize that when they're interconnected, it is really a virtuous circle and a virtuous cycle that results as between them. And as all of us who manage for the long term, when you do manage for long-term value, you do know that it is trust you have to create, and it is my strong view that it is society that gives each of us the license to operate and do what it is that we do. So from that standpoint, as Shirley mentioned, and as IBM CEO, I only think trust is even more important in this era with all of the new technologies that are here. I've said many times that artificial intelligence, it will transform every single job eventually here. Not replace, but transform. And therefore, in many ways, what we have is a trust economy in front of us. And I also believed it's IBM's role to not just build great technologies, but you have to usher them safely into this world and usher them with great responsibility and prepare the world for them. And so Shirley remarked on one of these. We finally documented something that honestly I'd grown up and lived by for decades, which were principles of trust and transparency. But it was time to write them down. It was things like the purpose of technology is to augment man. The second is the data belongs to its owner, of course. And the third is that technology should be explainable and they should be fair. Now, we did this and wrote it down hoping others would join us and that would raise the bar for everyone. But there's another two pieces of responsible stewardship of technology, if I can mention them too briefly. One is what we do and be willing to be audited to it. The other is then the policies that have to be made. And so a number of us have participated quite a bit in the policies now for these new technologies. I mean, you just have to pick up the paper and you'll read people calling for things like an outright ban on things like facial recognition, which on the other hand, facial recognition can do some very positive things for all of us. So we would call for things like precision regulation, meaning ban the bad uses of it and with the bad people, accept it for the good uses and what it can do. And so with that, one other piece comes with not just policy, but to prepare society to work with these technologies. And this perhaps is the thing I am most passionate about. Because I believe in this digital era, we could have a world of have and have-nots that's evolving out here, where the benefits go to the few and they don't go to the many. And I do worry about a digital divide that should be healed before it becomes too divisive. And at the core of this is a feeling that time is of the essence to close this skill gap, so everybody can feel they have a great future in front of them, not just the few. And that means that time won't wait for everyone to get a university degree, to do a great job in this digital world. And that was the motivation behind the schools that Shirley talked to you about, these Pathway to Technology. We started them almost 7 years ago, and I'm proud to tell you these 6-year high schools, there's now 220 schools. They are now in 24 countries, and we're approaching 200,000 kids coming through these schools. So, pretty simple formula, by the way. Give the school a curriculum, give the kids a mentor, all of our employees, and 600 other companies participate with us, and give them a chance at a job, and everything changes. And so with that motivation, and then everything from 21st century apprenticeship programs for mid-career people, to what we do for veterans for wonderful returning to cyber jobs, and then returnships for women and folks who've left to go take care of their family. All of these are about bringing everyone into this digital economy. So with that, I don't want to leave you with the impression we're the only ones doing this. There are many other companies out there doing the same thing, and it is to make stakeholder capitalism a reality. So I'll close with that because I believe behind all those efforts, and perhaps why I'm standing here today, it is the one thing that I think Henry Crown understood so very long ago, was that when business does well, business does good. And so with that, my deepest appreciation for this award on behalf of IBM and myself, and both to the Crown family and on behalf of the fellowship. So thank you very much.